This episode of Convert to Raid is brought to you in part by World of Tanks. Play for free and help directly support this show by heading to ctrdeal.com/tanks. Welcome home, Raiders. This week, Blizzard talks stats for the next expansion, and we'll give you the details. And we'll also tell you why Koltrane's predictions for Warlords, Friends and Family Alpha were dead wrong. That and so much more. This is CTR 145.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the World of Warcraft.
Somewhere near the core of the podcast power station. That's what I'm calling it now. That's what I've decided to call it. It's no longer the command center. It's the podcast power station. Why not? I don't know. Hi, my name is Pat Krane. I'm your host of the show. This is a goofy little show about World of Warcraft. I'm also known as Zug around Airy Peak, US, and still raiding with the Druid. And we've got more things that are going on within World of Warcraft that we'll be talking about today. But first, let's get to the players. The players are all back in the house. And we start off in serene Seattle. Welcome back, Dairies!
Hi!
Hi, how you doing?
Almost did come back. Let me tell you, the U.S. Virgin Islands are a very big draw when it comes to looking for a new place to live. You got real lucky that I came back.
Well, I think part of it is that it's sunny there.
And beautiful.
And there are dolphins there.
My good. Oh, yes, there are dolphins.
Yeah, you kissed a dolphin. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
And I got his number.
Oh, you got his number. Nice. I like it. Let's go out to La La Land, to Hollyweird, and visit our good friend, the Funky Monk, Koltrane.
Fortune cookies say.
Ouch!
I'm just going to leave now.
A Tauren valedictorian is some grade A beef. Some grade A beef.
So who do we have to blame for that one? Who do we have to blame for that one? That was horrible.
The good stuff.
That was horrible.
I was planning on being
A-B.
Great
He's
mood.
a valedictorian.
No.
It's got double meaning.
No.
Oh, I see 10 out of 10 and LMFAOs.
Right.
100 million bongos.
All the
bongos. All the bongos. That was sent in by Svensson, CTR, who is in our chat room right now, and he is now a celebrity.
And he said win, of course, because he's trying to play up his own thing, even though it was total, as far as I'm concerned. It was not good at all.
Oh, you're saying it was a Tauren pie? Is that what you're saying?
It was a big pile of poo, that's for sure.
Oh, it's the best.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. Eric got out.
I couldn't hear that.
There.
Yeah.
All right. So, hi, fellas. Welcome back, everybody, after the month of craziness that was May.
Yes, indeed.
And now we're kind of settling back in, and we're able to actually maybe get some shows in, and my studio is still under construction. It's lovely.
Podcast power station.
The podcast power station. That's right. That's what
it still looks like Evil Tron.
It really does. It really does.
I dig that.
MCP. I
actually Red Tron, the MCP.
It was really funny. I was at an art fair yesterday, and I actually saw this guy that had it was a Tron poster, but it was made to look like those old propaganda posters. And it just said, stop the tyranny, MCP. And it was so awesome. I was like, I need several of those. So
right.
That'll be
coming wallpaper my house in that.
Yeah, exactly. So let's catch up with the fellas here. And maybe Dairies, we'll start with you. What has been going on in your world lately?
Oh, man, I have been very busy. By busy, I mean doing nothing. I spent a week on a cruise ship, which means a whole lot of nothing.
Right.
That was amazing. Went to the Bahamas, where I swam with dolphins.
Yeah.
The Virgin Islands, where I went to a wedding on a beach. And then St. Martin, where I bought new sunglasses.
All right.
And rode a catamaran for a while.
Oh, nice. That's very nice.
I got to tell you, the last one doesn't seem as amazing as the first two.
I know.
Yeah.
But they're really nice sunglasses. So
excellent.
Yeah.
They're really nice, and I got them for super cheap. So that's really the biggest deal there. I don't know.
But yeah,
that's
that was
awesome.
That was fun. I was on the largest cruise ship in the world. And let me tell you, we at one of the ports, we parked next to a Carnival and a Disney Cruise Line's boat, and I think we could have fit both of those inside. We just lost video.
Yeah, we lost video. That's all right. Go ahead. It's coming back.
Anyway, I think we could have fit both of those ships inside of ours with room to spare. It is huge. That's cool. Absolutely massive boat. 20 bars, 2 rock climbing walls, a central park with trees and all this other stuff. It had an ice skating rink.
Right. Now that's called it was Royal Caribbean, right?
Yeah, it's the Royal Caribbean Allure of the Seas.
Allure of the Seas.
Yeah, it's bigger than the Oasis by 3 inches, I think, 2 inches, and that's due to a engineering mistake when they built it. It was supposed to be the same size.
Yes.
Wow.
It's bigger, baby.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hit
your camera button for me. Just try it. Just see what happens. Oh, look. You're not coming back.
He's talking about Allure of the Seas, the biggest ship on the ocean.
So it's the biggest ship. What all do they have on this biggest ship of the ocean?
He just said that.
They have a giant casino, which is where I spent most of my time. So
awesome. Yeah. Were you doing the Dairies method? Now
I was doing the Dairies method. Yeah.
So tell us. Well, that's for craps, right? So when we got together in Vegas, the three of us monkeys a long time ago. That was like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap!
No, a year ago, wasn't it?
Was it a year ago or was it 2 years?
Year and a half.
Year ago. Okay. It was a long time ago though. No matter what. Yeah. You taught us the Dairies method for craps. It was great.
Yeah.
So
which I also used when I went on my cruise ship as well. I used the Dairies method.
Nice.
And was escorted out because I was winning so much. So thank you to Dairies. I was almost thrown overboard.
It's patent pending.
Yeah.
No one can steal that, and we don't condone or support gambling on this show.
No.
Not at all.
No. So Koltrane, let's catch up with you. What have you been up to this week, especially in WoW?
Well, not a whole lot. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our raid got canceled this week due to some real life issues with some individuals in the raid. There was just too many people that were going to be out, so unfortunately, we had to cancel for the week. So the rest of the time was kind of spent, I think, like most, really, Valor capping, trying to get those upgrades, because there's now 4 levels of upgrades now.
Right.
And, in fact, Dairies, was that enacted, like, while you were gone? Like, was it already around?
It started the Saturday when I was on the boat, and then I managed to get back, and because of everything... it was the Tuesday before I left, the 4-4 upgrades went, and then that next Saturday was the 100% Valor increase. So I got home on Monday and was able to cap, within 15 seconds. And then promptly spent it all on a shield that I was wearing to then win a better shield on the first boss we killed that night.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
So then I spent my next 1,000 Valor for the entire next week on that one piece of gear.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the best.
The system is stupid. I'm just gonna. That is so dumb.
That's the best. That's why they do it, right? That's why they have these now four times upgraded stuff, so that you can totally feel ruined if you win something new.
They need to raise that cap. Come on, Blizz.
I know.
Raise
really
that cap.
Right.
# raise that cap.
Well, and for me, getting Valor takes all of, seriously, 15 seconds, because I just buy it with coins. Because I never got anything for coins on Timeless Isle, so I just buy it, and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Oh, look at you, fancy.
And then I can go play other things.
What?
Like World of Warcraft.
Yes, like the WoD Alpha.
Yes.
Good. Woo, that was a close one there.
So, yeah. All right. What did we do last week for raid, Dairies? On the Asparagus Initiative.
We killed Thok.
We did kill Thok. You are absolutely right.
Yeah,
we did.
Right. Thok, the hunter hater.
Yeah. That was fun.
Looking back, was a boss we probably should have killed much sooner because we brought 4 paladins and 6 hunters. So
it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous how many hunters we had.
Our kill was, I think it was like the first time we even managed to get past the second stack phase, or second time maybe we got past that second stack phase, and we killed it with 1 person dead or something like that. It was actually a really good, clean kill. And we didn't spend too much time on Thok.
No, it was a number of pulls over the course of a couple of weeks, but really on Sunday it didn't feel like we spent an inordinate amount of time on it. Like it's just, you have to get the feeling of it, just like it with any other fight, especially a heroic fight.
It's one of those fights where everything is chaotic all the time. You just have to keep a level head and know what you're doing.
Right.
And it works out pretty well. It really scares me that we have to rely on our hunters for that fight and the next fight coming up.
Right.
Because, man, they are all hunters.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I actually have a quick tip on Thok.
Yeah.
So you know that old beam where he fixates on somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ian Hazakostas made a tweet, and he said, listen, because everyone was like, Melee always gets, messed up on that fight, and what about Melee love? And he said, listen, Thok will only target one of the 3 farthest people away from him for fixate. So if you don't want to be targeted, even if you're ranged, just make sure you're not in the back. Just run close to Thok, and he won't target you for the fixate.
That's right.
That's a trick we use. We actually have someone go to be the furthest away, so they are the one that gets picked.
Right.
For kiting at the beginning and then towards the end as well.
Yeah.
But
which actually is probably best if you have a melee, because they can't really do much DPS during that, phase anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe I should be taking the fixate.
We actually sat Ip1, who is our Windwalker monk. We sat him on that fight because
Yeah.
he brought almost nothing to the fight.
It's tough. It's tough when you have more range. I mean, if you're swapping them out for a range, I mean, they can get more DPS on the boss the entire time, and so it's kind of like it's tough.
Right.
It's tough.
We actually had to swap him for a hunter, and he doesn't bring a
for
raid
another
cooldown.
hunter.
That's all they and
that is the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
A poor monk being sad for a hunter.
Yeah.
Well, it's not your fault, Ip1. It's Blizzard's. They're making a fight that favors ranged.
Yeah.
Ranged bias.
Absolutely.
Forget this Horde and Alliance business. It's ranged.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
Blizzard favors ranged.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Fellas, I got a couple of things before we actually head into the news part. And a couple of updates on some things that are going on behind the scenes here and with the CTR Guild and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'll start with the CTR Guild little piece of information here. Now, we actually, one of the guild master for Alone, who is like the top guild on our server on Airy Peak, reached out to myself and some other officers in the guild. And they gave us, they're like, we love your community out on Airy Peak. We love having you guys here. You guys have really shown that, you've been a big benefit to the server. And we want to give you something special. We want to give you guys a one person, a free run through to Heroic Garrosh, an entire Heroic run, get geared up. And just a run through for one of our guildies, and that's cool.
That's amazing.
That is so
good
cool.
on them.
Yeah, I know. And so we've had something up in the forums lately, and if you guys haven't looked on CTR Guild on Twitter or on or check the forums at Signals Media forums.signalsmedia.com, you can go do that. You can check it out. This is like the last day that you can enter, and you have to be a part of the CTR Guild. So, you do have to be a member, and all that kind of stuff. But you guys can sign up today, last day, and then it will be announced on the Converted podcast. Now, for those guys that are unfamiliar with the Converted podcast, that is our guild community podcast done by Belschnickel, Sal, and Navix. And those guys are going to be announcing it on tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow.
I think it's tonight, and they're announcing it tomorrow.
Right.
And I was reading that they're up to over 200 people have applied for this.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So get in on it and see if you can get the run through. I think that's really great that they're doing that, and thank you guys over at Alone. That is that's amazing.
Well, these guys are an incredible team. They're a realm first, they're a top ranked U.S. guild. You know what I mean? A raid team. Yep. And that's really, really cool, man, because, for some of these guys that have cleared this content for, 8 months ago or whatever, it's really nice that they're kind of giving back. And, something like this is a huge deal for lower geared type of character. So, yeah, big shout out to Alone on Airy Peak.
Right. Yeah, they're top 100, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, they finished 20th, I think, in the U.S. for 25-man guilds.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. Also, another thing, just to let you guys know about, one thing that I did this week was I confirmed that we will be doing an event at Blizzcon. So we will be doing an event at Blizzcon. I've got the room reserved now. Woo. So maybe we should do big applause for that. Sure, because it was so much fun last year. We got to do it again. We got to step it up. So I got the room reserved, so we're going to get committees and all that kind of stuff going, and we'll figure out exactly what's going on with that. And another thing that's going on is Minnesota Meetup. I know that a lot of people have been talking about Minnesota Meetup. That's where we just, anybody who's in and around the Minneapolis area can come join us, and there will be drinks available and food and people and fun.
Why can't we have a meetup where people actually live, not the Midwest?
Dude, right. I tell you, man, we have about 30 to 40 people every year.
Come to sunny, beautiful Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right. Minnesota? They're all, we've had people from Canada come down and from Wisconsin and the Dakotas and Iowa and, kind of the surrounding areas come up and check it out. And it's a lot of fun. So we don't have anything confirmed yet, but we are looking at the end of July, last weekend in July. As soon as we nail down something, I will let you know about it, but I wanted to get that out there. We're looking at July 26th, I think. That's the Saturday. So yeah, stay tuned on that one, but it is going to be coming. So there. Now, fellas, the big news this week, and we got to do this before the raid news because it has nothing to do with raiding. The big news this week was Azeroth choppers.
Yeah! Oh,
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Where's the enthusiasm?
Maybe like a small applause. I don't know.
Come on!
I don't know. So
the most anticlimactic finish ever.
Really?
They did what they could. They did what they could with the results. You know what I mean? I liked how they did, Europe, and then. Well, anyway, we'll get into it. Go.
Well, no, I was just gonna say the same thing that you were saying. I mean, so we find out who the winner of Azeroth choppers is, and I don't think it was really that much of a surprise to anybody because we all kind of called it. We kind of called it last week.
We still haven't said who the winner was, Doug.
Oh, you want to say who the winner was?
It was the Murloc bike, right?
Yeah, it was the Murloc bike. It was the Murloc bike.
The winner was the Horde.
All right, I'll do the big applause for it was a cool bike.
It was.
It was so much better than the Beetle bike.
Come on! The Alliance bike was not a Beetle bike.
It wasn't. Insane. Then what was all the shiny shell thing all about?
It's not a beetle. That's crazy. I don't see it. Everyone says that, so I guess I'm just not seeing it. But I don't see a beetle when I look at the Alliance bike.
You know what I actually thought of when I saw that for the first time, the segmented fuel tank, right? I thought of the turtle shell shield that you get from what the icon is, that green kind of segmented look for the turtle shell shield that you get when you're level 20 or whatever. As soon as you go in. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, there was some controversy too. Everybody, okay, surprise, surprise, the internet furious, right? I mean, as crazy and as shocking as that sounds, right. And a lot of people were talking about like, oh, this was clearly rigged. This was rigged. And I think it was Bashiok that made a post and said, no, it wasn't. And here's why. For example, part of the thing that makes things exciting is when it's a really close race. When it's down to the wire, that's drama. That's when it's exciting. Who's going to win? What's it going to be, right? Mm-hmm. If Blizzard were to rig this, they would have made it like 52% to 50%. Oh my gosh, Horde wins, right?
That is 102%.
Well,
I'm just letting you know.
48%. Wait, but that still isn't right.
Right. No, it's
I'm the creative brain, not the math brain. I don't know which one it is.
That's why we have Dairies on the show to balance it all out, right?
I'm the creative brain, not the math one. But anyway, I think they did a good job as far as like, I mean, it was clearly Horde won over Alliance. So I think by going like, let's find out the results from Europe. Let's find out the results. That kind of helps to build the suspense. But yeah, no, it was Horde won, and I believe it or not, I believe that's how it should have been. I preferred the Horde bike. A lot of people preferred the Alliance, but I preferred the Horde bike. I did. Now I voted Alliance because I wanted a free mount.
Right.
But I preferred the Horde bike.
Of course you did. That's what we all did, right? I mean, it was
that's right.
You vote for your faction, and that's about it. But
didn't they say both factions will get the bike though?
Yeah. Well, no, they never said that actually.
I thought
they did not say that. Don't start putting that out there.
I was pretty sure they said both factions are getting.
No, they didn't. That's another controversial thing. People are like, well, Blizzard, you said. And they're like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? You never know. But as far as the last time I checked, they said, see which bike will end up for that faction and be in the game. But you never know. Maybe at some point, months down the road, maybe the Alliance bike will end up maybe in the store. Maybe it'll be for free. I mean, who knows? Right. But it was, I enjoyed the whole show. I thought it was kind of fun. I was amazed at how much hair Samwise has. That guy's incredible. The amount of shampoo that guy must go through on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
Is insane.
Yeah. No, it's that's pretty crazy stuff. That's for sure. I was kind of like surprised, like, you know, Mike Morhaime, he did the whole event, and they did this on Tuesday. It was the day after voting ended. They you know, kind of brought everybody out for the big event. I saw all the employees were tweeting about it, and they were like, you know, took pictures of the stage and pictures of the bikes in their, you know, underneath their little, you know, cover, I guess, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Mike Morhaime comes out and he does his whole spiel. And then right at the end, he goes, well, we'll be looking forward to seeing that Horde bike in game when Warlords comes out. Click, bye. Just like drop the mic. He's like, I'm out. I don't know. And I'm like, wait. Hold on a sec. Isn't this the part where the Oprah side is supposed to come out and give bikes to everybody?
Everyone gets a bike.
Isn't this the point where it's supposed to do that? I don't know.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that I was right?
I'm saying that you are not wrong.
What?
I'm not.
Because I remember, Mr. Zug, Mr. Krane, that I said last week, I said, you guys were like, no, these bikes are ready, and they're going to announce the winner, and they're just going to put them in the game. And I was like, really?
Right, that's what I thought. I thought that they already had these things ready to go, and they would just go, oh, yeah, we'll just turn it on now.
Well, you were wrong!
This is true. I was wrong about that.
Well, maybe I didn't say that they weren't, so maybe I wasn't right, but I guess I wasn't wrong. All right,
you weren't right, but you weren't wrong.
That works for me. I'll take it. I'll take it, baby.
Right.
But I preferred the Horde bike. I did. And a lot of people are like, but it's a trike, you know, but I thought it was cool. I think this whole contest, I thought was a lot of fun, kind of a fun, cool little thing to get the community fired up. And they really got fired up at the end here. Not necessarily positively, but they really got fired up. So
Right. So I don't know if there's anything else that we really need to talk about with that whole contest. Is there? Probably not. You know, it is what it is. No. It is what it is.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun. It was just kind of like one of those things where, okay, actually, there is one other thing that I want to talk about.
You seem like there's something bothering you.
There was something. Well, there were a couple things bothering me. Number one was Mike Morheim just kind of going, okay, bye-bye. See you later, guys. And then the other thing was, as far as the show goes, one of the things that I think they really missed out on was when discussing artwork. World of Warcraft has some of the best artwork ever, and they have a ton of it, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of like, those 8 episodes never really focused on what was going on with the bikes and what kind of art they were drawing from or whatever. And I was just like, I kind of miss that. And I think that the only episode of anything Choppers if they were to do anything with art, this was the one to do it with design and stuff like that. Instead of just showing like the brass knuckle breaks and the whatever, you want to kind of get into it a little bit more, and I don't think that they did that, and I was just kind of like bummed.
Well, this is a chopper show.
I know. So I mean, you got to balance that, but I mean, it was like they focused on the fake drama instead of on the real art. So I don't know.
You're crazy. I'd rather see guys building bikes, not reading books, right? On a chopper show?
Yeah. Speaking of books, let's talk about our sponsor real quick, which is Audible. That's right. You can try Audible free for 30 days and get a free audiobook by going to audible.com/gamebreaker. And you can do that right now. And we were looking up some Warcraft books before the show. And one of the things that came out, I mean, yes, they have all of the Warcraft books you're so familiar with, like War Crimes. We played a clip of that last week, and Dawn of the Aspects and all those other things. But they also have like leveling and gold making guides. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
They have leveling and gold making guides at Audible, and it's kind of weird.
What?
It's kind of strange. But there are 3 different leveling and Warcraft guides. So one is the ultimate World of Warcraft guide. One is, leveling and gold making, and one is the fastest way to get gold and all that kind of stuff.
Are they legit? Like, that sounds like a gold spammer thing, but I guess it is, right?
Well, I mean, it's available and you can get it right now for free if you just sign up. So sign up, get it for free. Check it out. Why not? Do it. I'm actually going to play a little bit of, let's do, which one? How about Vol'jin? The Shadows of the Horde. It's the one that came out just before the last one, before War Crimes came out. And so let's play a little piece of that, and then we'll move it along. Here we go.
Lily, in their eyes, was purely one of the Turtle's wild dogs. Impulsive and practical, quick to action, and a bit prone to overestimation of her own abilities, Lily was a fine example of a Pandaren accepting the philosophy of Huaojin. It was people of such an adventurous spirit who had departed on the Turtle or adventured in Outland. Such conduct, in the minds of the Chang sisters, simply was not to be condoned or given any credit.
So that is from Vol'jin, and that's pretty cool. So you can go to audible.com/gamebreaker, get your free 30 days, and get a free audiobook. So go to audible.com/gamebreaker. Now let's go to the news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is Raiding News.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening in Raiding News in World of Warcraft. And first up, little thing happened this week. Tiny. I mean, it's just a little speck on the radar right now. Yeah.
I didn't. Something happened. I wasn't aware.
I mean,
Was there news?
Just a little bit of news.
Well, why don't you alpha strike us with the info?
Oh my, that's so bad.
Yeah.
So we had. Thank you for dropping that little piece of news on everybody. No, the alpha came out. For the friends and family part of the alpha came out. So now it's the friends and family alpha is available now, and we've been seeing people stream it all week. Well, not all week long, but since like Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. So So yeah, and Koltrane, you were dead wrong when it came to predicting when it was going to come out.
What?
Because you said it was going to come out June 3rd, and it totally didn't.
Well,
it came out June 4th, right? June 4th. So June. right. So they people got in like 2 days of WildStar, and then they were like, "Oh no, we're gonna just drop this bomb on you." And then all the streamers went, "Oh, Warlords!" Everybody just got switched right over. It was kind of crazy. I don't know, but Koltrane, way to drop the ball, pal.
One day.
I was closer in my next Thursday release.
Yeah, you were.
That.
You were.
Yeah,
you were. Nice work. So you guys have probably. I know that you guys have played, right? I mean, Koltrane, you've played. What have you played?
Are you talking about Warlords of Draenor?
Warlords of Destruction.
I'm so happy, man. It's here, sort of. That's all.
Kind of.
You know what I mean? It's kind of here. It's almost here, but not really. But it's here. I love it.
It's crashing on a server near you.
Yeah, it is. It feels a little alpha. It's got a little alpha on it.
Yeah.
A little tinge of alpha.
Really?
But it's awesome, man. It's so great. It's great to finally be in there. You see the new zones, the new kind of the look. I think they like juiced up the graphics too a little bit, because these zones look great. Yeah. And it feels good to be in there and playing your class. Like it's Warlords, man. Here we are.
Yeah. So what were you playing? What class were you playing?
Well, I gotta go monk, baby. I mean, come on.
Did you do anything other than monk at all? Or
no, I just did monk.
All right, cool.
You know, it's the best class in the game along with mages. So I had to add
trying
that.
to walk the line.
Please, no more hate mail. Please
don't do it.
But yeah, no, I did Windwalker Monk. Got to check it out. Unfortunately, I could not copy my character over because currently the alpha is horde only. So currently we're playing Alliance, so I can't copy him over. So, but it feels good. Like Windwalker felt good. I mean, we're at lower gear levels. They start you off at a 500 gear level. So it was a little bit slower in the combat, but I think that's also due to like I've got just far less haste, far less gear, far less everything. But it wasn't too slow. Like it was manageable. It felt good. Now the thing about Windwalker though, pretty much no abilities were pruned. Like the rotation is nearly identical in Warlords as it is in Mists of Pandaria. So there really wasn't much change, except there's one cool little thing. Flying Serpent Kick. This is a classic iconic ability. This is the whoa where you fly across the room.
Right.
In Warlords, okay, in Pandaria, when you fly across the room, you're going in a straight line, and that's it.
Yeah.
But in Warlords, you can actually turn your dude left and right in the air.
What?
Yeah.
Get out of here. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, so you can like boom, and then you can like hook right, and then go left, and then land.
Weird.
It's awesome.
Weird. So so I'm guessing that like the turning radius is pretty wide, but still you can steer, right?
It's actually, yeah, I mean, it's not like a character. You can't just like, whoa, and then just turn right around. But, but it's pretty decent.
Cool.
Which is good. I mean, I got to admit, I wish I had that on Heroic Mercius when I had my camera turned and I, whoa, right into a Mercius. It would have been useful to kind of make a right.
Right.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Right. Very cool. Darius, what have you been playing as far as characters go, classes go?
On the alpha, you get 2 character transfers. So the first thing I did was try to transfer over 2 Alliance characters, which it let me do. And then it said, hey, you can't play these. So I wasted both of my character transfers on Alliance tunes instead of, transferring all my heirlooms to a Horde character and sending that over. But I started as Paladin to see how that changed. And Prop Pally is pretty much the same, super underpowered. Most of the abilities are exactly the same. So none of that stuff has changed. I got to almost 93 before they kind of capped everybody out and allowed people or stopped people from leveling too far. Because as of right now, only the starting area is open. You can't go any further. I tried to go into other areas, and you just immediately get a debuff that says you're someplace you're not supposed to be, and it ports you back to like where your Hearthstone is set.
Well, and you were talking pre-show that there was actually a guy that leveled up to 100 in under 24 hours, and that's why they put the kibosh on it. Is that right?
Yeah, because you're not supposed to be that high yet. This is just to test the Alliance starting area, and he managed to get
Horde.
Horde. Yeah,
yeah.
He managed to get to 100 and test things he wasn't supposed to be testing, but so you kind of hit 92 now, and they give you the level 100 talent when you get to 92 to test out, but you can't really go further than that. So I did Paladin, and then I made a Guardian Druid, and wow, that's the opposite of the Paladin. That thing, the Guardian Druid is really strong right now, able to kill things as a Guardian Druid real quick, pull a bunch of stuff with no problem, and they took a lot of abilities out. My Druid used to have the whole toolbar would be full of stuff, and now it's just empty. I'm like, well, where'd all my buttons go?
Yeah,
So a lot of things changed there.
They did the same with, because I played and so I made a balanced Druid and also a Hunter, and for the balanced Druid they also took out. They took out just a bunch of buttons that were just kind of they didn't really do too much. Especially like Sunfire and Moonfire, they've just combined that into one button now, and so it will change as your Eclipse changes. We kind of talked a little bit about the Eclipse changes for Boomkin last week, right? And so it actually plays pretty well. I was kind of surprised. I was like, okay, so there's this new Eclipse thing where every 30 seconds you go to one side or the other, and whatever happens. But I think that there's actually, it kind of makes sense once you get into it, and once you kind of start discovering exactly what's going on with Balanced Druid, it starts to make sense. It starts to click, and you start looking for those little things like, what part of the Eclipse am I at right now? Can I, get my next dot out? Can I, which should be my filler cast? Am I casting Wrath or am I casting Starfire? Right? Starfire? Something like that. Anyway, so what am I casting and all that kind of stuff? And they also have like charges for some of these different abilities as well. So it's really changed around, and it's really I think it plays pretty well right now. So I'm kind of happy about it.
And I noticed that with a lot, especially when I tested the Guardian Druid, I was looking for buttons, and I was thinking, wait, I don't need that button. I had that button, it did things, but I didn't really need that anymore. So I didn't miss it. Like I noticed it was gone, but I wasn't missing any of that stuff, and that's definitely a sign of a good
rebuild.
I guess, our evolution, I guess, of the classes.
The only thing that I did was I was like missing things because of my keybinds, the way that my keybinds were set, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm used to going, 1, 2, 4 or something like that, and now I'm missing 2, and I'm like, it just feels weird. So it was kind of strange, but.
I also ran the dungeon, the only dungeon that was open.
Oh yeah,
at least
nice.
To me. And it was the entire thing was a complete tank and spank. Our healer was a Rep Pally. I had 3 DPS in there, and I tanked it as a prop Pally, and we just pulled everything, stood there, and killed it. It was.
What about the bridge boss? That wasn't tank and spank.
It was so boring.
What?
The bridge boss, yeah. So the bridge boss, I think, is supposed to have that enrage mechanic.
Yeah.
Which it didn't do anything. We lost 2 of our DPS who weren't paying attention and just kind of fell off the side. And then we just stood there for another 2 or 3 minutes and just tanked him. It was.
Well, let's.
I hope the dungeon gets a lot harder, because that was really boring.
Let's talk about the bridge boss. Boss is awesome.
All right.
Bridge boss, essentially, you get the new model, right? So it's the new model fire dude, and he looks awesome. So he's standing on the edge of the bridge. So fight starts, and he's, big fire guy. So he starts throwing out fire. But what's really cool is the fire never goes away. So wherever he sticks his fire, that's going to be there for the rest of the fight, which I kind of dig. So this is an enrage mechanic, because he's just going to keep adding more fire till eventually the entire bridge is on fire and you die.
Right.
What's also cool is he throws, well, two things he does, which is awesome. He does this like air vent thing where he pushes you back. He shoots out this like flame air stuff. So your characters and all that stuff get pushed back and sometimes into the fire, which is awesome.
Well, it's kind of like G-Kun, right? I mean, it's kind of like that bird boss in Throne of Thunder. So,
and then he also throws these giant boulders down the bridge. So you're on a small space. So he's either going to throw it to the left, the middle, or to the right. So you got to dodge the boulders, dodge the fire, and then also deal with that G-Kun flame vent stuff every once in a while. I think it's cool, man. It's kind of fun. I mean, again, this is a dungeon. This is not like some hardcore raid. And you're going to be, possibly you're going to be pugging this and all that kind of stuff. But I like it when there's a lot of stuff going on. I like those kind of fights.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I was watching some of the videos and stuff like that on everything that's going on in that dungeon. I was having connectivity problems, so I just decided I'm not going to try it right now. And so I watched some videos on it, and Fat Boss, they were saying that not all of the abilities are being showcased in these dungeons right now. So there must be something going on with putting those abilities in, or I don't know if they're just like, okay, let's just try it out. Let's just get people through here, see what's going on. But yeah, some of the bosses are really super easy because they don't have everything built in the game yet.
Right. They're not doing their full abilities yet. I think one of the ogre guys is supposed to be jumping on top of people, but he wasn't, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I had the same issue, Zug. I was having connectivity issues. I was getting world server down. And just to talk about it briefly, what is nice is, I mean, I don't know if it's nice, but it's a reminder that this is an alpha.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like early release or pre-release. You know what I mean? So for those of you that really, really want to get in, I would say, trust me, it's actually a good thing that you're not getting in right now because it is still very, very buggy.
Right.
Yes. It's very buggy. Yeah. It really is, and there's a big graphical. If you go to I think I was talking to Ro last night, there's the Forbidden Glacier, I think he called it, where the entire screen, if you point your camera near the bones, the entire screen gets this graphical bug. You can't see a thing.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about because it was the inside of my mount. I was mounted at the time, and I did a turn, and I was on the crane mount because I thought it was funny.
Yes, because you're a Pat Krane.
Right. And then all I saw was the inside of the crane, like feathers, just everywhere on the screen. I'm like, okay, great. Now I can't go anywhere. So yeah, it was pretty cool, but it's glitchy, and I know that there was actually there was a kerfuffle, as there always is in the forums, about people wanting to get in, and I totally get it. You want to get into the new hotness and see what's going on, but I think that Blizzard really had to be careful with how many people they let into this alpha. Because it is very alpha, and because there are issues that come up if you let in too many people.
Right.
Right, Darius? I mean, Darius, you know more about this stuff than both of us monkeys. What's your impression of the alpha, just as from the state of, I guess, the programming and where it's at?
I mean, so it's definitely an alpha right now. It's not just the world crashing. You get the UI bugs, where you get stuck inside other models. There's a giant bug where if your shadows are set to anything but low, your game constantly crashes. So there's lots of bugs in it, but that's because it's an alpha. They've tested this internally, but they can only test it in so many computer iterations internally. Once it gets out in the wild, they get real good data. But if you add 50,000 people to an alpha, then you run the risk of getting a ton of crap data. You end up with your forums being full of people just screaming because their favorite ability was removed from the game. You're not getting useful data from that. You're just getting someone angry that something they wanted isn't in there, instead of hey, I'm getting this crash, this is the error message I'm getting, or this quest doesn't work, here's the error I'm getting, things like that. That's the data you want on your initial alphas. You want useful information.
Right.
So that later on, once you've ironed all this stuff out, you give it to a larger audience who can then test things that maybe everyone else didn't see, but you start getting all that other feedback that for the most part is just
And the other thing too is that the big criticism is that they're only giving it to streamers, but really they're giving it to streamers with all sorts of different gameplay as well, because we're seeing some of the top raiders in the world like Sloot and Trekkie and all the guys of Method and everywhere. Those guys are playing it, and then you have people like Krendor, who really doesn't pay attention to the game too much. He's really pretty casual when it comes to Warcraft right now, and he goes through it as well. But you're getting all these different experiences, and you're getting it out there to those different audiences, and that's what Blizzard. Yeah. It's a marketing tool right now, right?
Yeah, that's what you want. You want your streamers to have it because they're gonna test it. Right. People are gonna see it, but you want people to be able to see it, but not have the interaction with it that is negative for them. So if I'm streaming it, I'm talking about it. And if it crashes, I'm still talking, I'm still engaging with my streamers, but I'm not, the streamers aren't the one that are yelling at my computer or their computer because their game has crashed. My game's crashed, but they're still interacting with me. So they're still getting a positive experience out of it.
Right.
If it was their side, it's different. You don't want people having a negative experience before the game is even out.
And the big thing that you're saying too is that you are seeing it. If they gave it to streamers, so as the audience, we can see it. We can actually see it. Imagine if all of a sudden we see a post that says, 150 people got invites. They're playing it right now. And okay, great. You can't see anything. Like if they didn't do that, you know what I mean? Like, well, we know they're in there and we know they're playing. I sure would love to see what they're playing. So I think it's a smart way that it's a small group of testers, but it has the most exposure.
Right.
The most amount of people can see it. So even though you're not in the game, you can still kind of play along in a way and get to actually see the alpha in action. So I think it's really smart what they did.
And you're also, you have a bunch of different fan sites in on it as well. Icy Veins, Wowhead, and these guys are data mining. They're already starting to do they're trying to construct their class guides. And I know that, maybe it's not everybody's in right now, but we've received notifications from Blizzard, saying, okay, if you have somebody that still needs to get in and to experience this stuff for your site, let us know and we'll do what we can to get these guys in. So they're being pretty generous. They're being as generous as they can right now, keeping stability and trying to also make sure that people can actually see this stuff and experience it either on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, or get in there and kind of monkey around with some of the mechanics and stuff. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. Now let's get into character models and questing and all that kind of stuff. What did you guys think of the questing experience as you went through? Maybe Koltrane, I'll start with you.
I dig it, man. I dig it. It's like a starter area.
Yeah.
So there weren't as many quests up front. It was kind of a little bit more like Diablo, but it was more like, but I kind of dug that at the beginning. Now remember, this is just the beginning opening starter quest. So they want you to okay, go speak to him and then go see so-and-so and then go see this. And then you start getting the multiple quests. But the thing that I love about this questing system is, to me, it feels perfect. And here's why. You've got your standard stuff, right? You got the guys with the old arrows that say, hey, go kill so-and-so. Give me 6 of these, 6 of those. Typical MMO quests, right?
Right.
They try and spice them up and add a little bit of this or that, but it's your typical gather 6, do this, which is great. That's typical MMO stuff. But what I also dig is I was told to go find this or whatever, and then I look to my left and I see a little thing on my map, on my mini map, and I go, what is that? And I walk over there and boom, there's like this big event going on. And now I've got content that I discovered myself. You know what I mean? So now I'm doing like a whole nother thing over here, and then I can go back to doing my quest. So it's like that Timeless Isle type thing, that discovery, which I really, really dig. So I get my normal average MMO quests, but they're still more, interactive, which is cool. But I also get my little Timeless Isle discovery stuff, which I really, really dig. So I like this new system of questing in Warlords. It feels right to me.
Cool. Darius, how about you? What did you find out? Because you actually went through all the quests that you possibly could, right?
Yeah, on the Paladin, I did all the quests that I could find, and it was good. There was only one point, and I think it was just a bug in a quest line where I felt lost, like I didn't know where to go. There were always quests leading me to a new area, or to kind of find a new quest hub, or even just one-off quests that along the way, like Colt said, led to some treasures. Like there were frozen treasures out there. These little treasure, they're not chests yet. They're like things you click on, it starts an event, and then you get a treasure chest. Those were really awesome to come across, and not only do they show up on your mini map, but if you go past it, they give you this gray little arrow letting you know that, hey, you missed it, and this is how you get back to it. Right. So you don't walk past stuff inadvertently without going back. The map also has all these areas with the kind of the two swords crossing, and we can go, and there's little mini events there. Those were a ton of fun. I mean, it was always something new going from one area to another. There was never a point where I wanted to just like turn on click to move, click in the distance, run, and then come back. Like, I always wanted to be engaged and watching because there was always something to look at.
Right.
I got a couple purples from quest rewards, which was awesome. Normally you get a green or whatever, but nice. I got a couple purples, which was great, and those were totally random. I didn't get any, because there are rares all over the place, like on Timeless Isle, which again, another great thing. Even at level 90, you can solo these things. There was actually a really fun one. It's Cindermaw, and he's a rare, but he's different in that when you attack him, once his health hits, like once you've done about a third of his health, he actually goes underground and pops up someplace else. Like he even emotes and says like, wow. Hey, Cindermaw has gone underground, and now he's in the northwest quadrant of this area. So then you got to work your way through all these mobs that are there normally and find this rare again to then like do another third, and then he goes under and pops up someplace else.
Wow.
So it's not awesome. Just like, it's not just like a tank and spank. It's like this. I think they called it like a vignette or something like that. But it was fun. And I really dug that. And I wasn't expecting it either. I was like, when it first happened, I was like, oh, what? Like, did he despawn? Like, where did he go?
Where'd he go?
Yeah. And then I started reading it, and I was like, oh no, he popped up someplace else. I gotta go find him.
Right.
So that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
I really enjoyed it. I like I said, I'm on my second quest through on my druid, and everything's different. I'm doing the quests in a different order, so they feel different. I'm finding different rares, and this is just in the small area that really isn't that big. The horde starting area, it isn't huge,
right?
And there's just a lot to do. So
right. Well, and the one thing that I noted was with garrisons, right? So garrisons is the new thing, and they've really incorporated that early on in your experience, and I think it's like just a few quests in, and you're already starting to build your garrison. You can create it pretty easily. You talk to Gazlo, and he's doing his little goblin thing, and and then he goes and builds it for you, and then you can put in your barracks. And unfortunately, there's only like one place to put your barracks.
Yeah,
you click on the little map, and it says, okay, here you can place 20 different buildings. Different building types. Here you can place another 15, and here you can place these 10 plus your barracks, and barracks are nowhere else. And I just thought that was really funny that it's like, okay, no, this is the intro quest, this is the intro spot, you have to put that there, otherwise we just need to move along, we need to keep this thing cooking along. So
that may change though, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. But it was kind of funny at the same time. And you go through and you get your first follower at your garrison, and then you put him to work, and you have to click him and then drag him over to the thing and drop him in there, and it looks like you're choking him to death.
Yes, when you hold the mouse key over him and you drag him from the, he's like, oh, you're like choking him as you drop him off. Right. But I gotta say, one thing I liked was you actually have to rescue this follower. Yeah. Like he says, hey, go save so-and-so. And then you go and you save him. And then now he's your follower. Like, it's kind of weird. It's like, he feels like it's a real dude. Yeah. And speaking of garrisons, man, I had no idea how big these things were.
They're huge.
They're massive.
They're huge.
Like massive.
Right.
And I can now understand why Blizzard kind of retracted you can place your garrison wherever you want. These things are massive. Now, yes, they would have been, phased just to you, but they are huge. So I was really impressed by that. Now, garrisons, they were a little buggy, but I kind of like the UI for it.
Yeah.
So you get a mission. There's a list of available missions. You click a particular mission. Oh boy, I'm getting more errors.
Yeah, I know.
I can't see Zug.
Skype is horrible right now. So,
all right.
So
Skype is really
there. We go. You're there. I see
doing its thing.
Yeah.
All right.
We're
better now. Am I too high?
Yeah, well, I'll get you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
I lowered.
it.
I was actually surprised to see Thrall hanging out in my garrison. I didn't expect you'd see named characters in there, but Thrall hangs out in your garrison.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely a little weird to see some of those guys come through.
That made me feel special because I was like, hey, Thrall's in my garrison, not yours. So
right.
Only in mine. That is
he's in mine.
I did like you send these guys out and it says there'll be a mission and it'll say on this mission there will be this happening and there'll be an icon.
Right.
And then they'll say if you'd like you can try to counter that icon and you'll get bonus rewards. So on your followers tab, they themselves will also have a little icon. And you just essentially want to match the icon to the icon of the mission and you know that you'll get bonus rewards.
It's like Garanimals. It's the children's clothing with the different animals on it. You just match them, and you're good to go. You're good to go. So it's awesome.
And my bonus reward was another follower. That was my bonus reward.
That's awesome.
So now I got 2.
So you have 2 now, Colt? Is that?
Yes.
Darius, have you found more than 2?
Yeah, I think I've got 5.
What?
4 or 5. Yeah, and I've got one of them came pre-leveled to 91, and is purple.
Wow.
I don't know. She doesn't seem to get me quest rewards any differently, which is a bummer. But yeah. So I've gotten a bunch. I like that you can check on them. There's that button next to your minimap, and it says 30 minutes left, and they're in combat, or they're out gathering, or something like that. Like it kind of gives you this little indicator as to what's going on, and I like to imagine what they're doing, but. It's well done. I find that when I complete a mission with them and I go back and there's not a new mission available, I kind of get disappointed because I want to send them out. I want them to do something and be like, nope, there's nothing, and there's no indication as to when you'll get a new one or anything. Which is just it's probably by design, but it's just a bit of a bummer because I want them to be doing stuff.
Well, and that's the thing. That's one thing that I kind of hope they change. And maybe this is just my own. I've just gotten used to convenience. There's been a lot of quality of life issues in Warcraft that have really helped, and I've gotten used to convenience. One thing that I hope they change is you have to go back to your garrison to send them out on other missions. So if I send my dude out, my Tauren guy or my orc female out on a mission, and it'll take 30 minutes, and then I go out and I'm questing and I'm doing my thing. No video. There we go. I'm out questing, doing my thing. They'll finish their mission while I'm still out in the world, and I'm like, I want them to start again. So I have to run all the way back to my garrison, get them going again, and then run all the way back to my questing. I wish there was like an instant teleport to your garrison or something, or maybe a bird comes by and picks you up and drops you off, or a way that I can send my followers out, maybe via carrier pigeon, to go on other missions while I'm out in the world.
That's funny.
Yeah, while I'm out in the world.
Like Star Wars Galaxies did that. They had followers and that kind of stuff, and you could send them out at any time.
Right.
As soon as they came back, you could send them out again. That's I feel you there.
Yeah. But the garrison itself, I was amazed at the size of it. It was still pretty buggy. Like the icon things were getting, weird and messed up. And then I had like missions overlapping on top of other missions. I was like, what is going on?
Right.
But I did like this idea that at the end of the night, I sent my dudes out on their missions. I went to bed. I woke up in the morning and they said, "Here's your loot." So I really dug that. So that's a cool thing.
That's the best. And some of the missions ranged from like the first one was like a half hour, and then he comes back and it's all good. So I mean, you can just kind of mess around and get some stuff done with your followers, and it's kind of cool that way. Now the other thing that was really kind of interesting for me anyway was the stat squish. Right, so now we're able to kind of play around with the stat squish a little bit and kind of figure out what that means. And it means that you're doing about, under 10K per spell for the most part. Yeah. So it seems really strange, right, Darius?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, if you look at the numbers, you are doing way less, but it doesn't feel like it, which is exactly what it needed to be.
Right.
I felt like I was still playing my paladin or my druid or anything like that. I didn't feel like I was only hitting for 6K. and it didn't matter. Ultimately, I was still looking at my health and dealing with it the same way I deal with it when I had 1 million health on my paladin. It felt exactly the same. So, kudos to them for doing that. I looked at the gear and it was just all relative. Instead of 4,000 stamina on it, it had 47 or whatever.
Right.
So, there was no different there. It was all relative to everything else on the screen. It's just smaller numbers.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great.
Much smaller. I mean, it was funny because when I was looking at upgrades, you'd get +5, to whatever stat. And you're like, oh, this is upgrade. This is a big upgrade. +5, +7, whatever it is. You're like, oh my God, that's so crazy.
Right. I got like a trinket. I killed a rare mob and it's like, +40 haste. And I'm like, 40 haste? Like, is that an upgrade? Like 40? Oh, yeah. Oh, right. No, that's a big upgrade. That's huge.
That's huge.
All right, great.
Whoa.
So, but yeah, just everybody needs to keep in mind. I was watching a lot of these streams and everyone was like, I was watching Final Boss TV, Bay. And every 5 minutes, somebody was saying, oh my gosh, everybody got nerfed. Look at these numbers. And he's like, no, like keep in mind that, yes, your numbers are lower, but the mob's health is lower. Right. So it's relative. It's all the same. So So when I was playing it, yes, I was now, critting for 3,400 damage, but it felt great. Like, because then the mob would still go down. So rather than 340,000, it's 3,400. So, but it felt totally fine. Right. Stat squish felt great. Mobs were dying like they were supposed to be dying. It all felt really, really good.
And you still feel overpowered as far as, a player going in there, just going one-on-one against these mobs. I mean, there's no big deal. I went through on the balance druid and was letting these mobs hit me in the face as I was trying to kill them. And it was fine. It felt like it normally feels. Yes, I was taking damage, but I only died once, but I got like a couple of other guys, so you kind of expect to die on stuff like that, Yep. So you attract a crowd and you're gonna get clobbered.
It's funny. Scrinch in the chat room said, well, yes, they're kind of right. Everyone got nerfed, but including the mobs.
Right.
Critters. Yeah, so you're right.
Everybody got nerfed.
Everyone.
Right, exactly. But it's not a loss of power at all. It feels fine, and so yeah, exactly. Now the other thing that I was checking out on my druid was and I haven't really been able to dig into it too much, but I went from balance, that was the first spec, and then I zoned into Orgrimmar, and I'm like, okay, I need to get the secondary, spec, and I went feral with that. And I was just checking out the hybrid armor, right? Because now with armor, it will change your main stat to whatever the main stat needs to be for your other spec. And so it was int, and then all of a sudden, agility. It was kind of cool.
So it worked.
It totally worked. That was great. So I was kind of playing around with that. I didn't get a chance to play feral, but I'm going to.
What exactly did it look like when you did it? Like when what did the item piece look like before and then after? Like were there the grayed out things like underneath?
It was just the int changed to agility, and that was the only thing that changed.
There wasn't like a grayed out agility underneath or a grayed out int underneath.
No.
It was just
some of the items I saw where when I would swap from like prot to holy or something like that, it was all the intellect was grayed out and it said strength instead or something like that.
I didn't notice it anyway, so maybe I missed it. But
some pieces didn't do that, others did.
Right, and I was just looking at like the armor pieces, and I know that the armor pieces like legs and chest and so on. Those pieces are the ones that have your main stat on them. The rest of them, your neck piece, the trinkets, the rings, cloak. Those guys don't have your main stat on them. They have all the secondary stats. So that doesn't change at all, but your main armor stuff does. So
yeah, and I think Affinity was saying too, just like you said, Darius, some of the items weren't like swapping like they're supposed to. Some were working, some weren't. Because he was checking out Mistweaver and the new stance, the new crane stance, and he said there were some issues there with some of the items. But that is what is so exciting, is like it's these new class changes, these new things. And by the way, for all of us, like this is going to hit in 6.0. These class changes that we're talking about, this button bloat, this isn't going to happen in Warlords. This will happen before that in 6.0.
Right.
So whenever 6.0 drops, we'll be able to check out these new class changes, these new things. But now I'm curious, this armor switching, is that 6.0 or that's Warlords? That's 6. Just Warlords, right?
6.
Oh, that's 6.0.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. That's great.
It's going to be going with everything. And that is really exciting. I mean, that, especially for hybrids like druids, where you really switching around. I mean, you don't have to pick up that second entire set of gear. Instead, you're just picking up rings and trinkets and stuff like that as your secondary set or whatever. But you don't have to worry about it quite so much because, especially with the way that they've done, there's no more haste caps. You don't have to worry about, hitting a percentage of crit anymore to make it feel like you're not participating or not doing as much as you can. So I think that while you'll still have those levels that you want to get to, if you have a percentage of that, it's not going to feel quite so bad. So I think that everything just kind of feels right with this game right now. I mean, as far as like the overall, not balance, but overall feel of these characters that I played anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's good. I like it. And Hunter was kind of weird, but cool. So
a lot of abilities removed on Hunter?
There were a few. There were a couple like Serpent Sting. That's not there anymore. That's like that's like the first thing. It's a passive.
That's the first thing you get, isn't it?
Right. Well, it's your opening. That is your open shot. That is it. Right. And so now it is Serpent Sting is actually a passive and just gets applied automatically. And it's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. It gets applied with Arcane Shot. So you're applying it with Arcane Shot, and then you hit Black Arrow and all that other kind of stuff. So it just kind of gets applied.
I remember, didn't you get that at like level 10 as a hunter or something? Like,
you get it pretty quick.
Get it pretty early.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what level it is, but that is around for the life of your character, pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what other. I think I also created a Goblin DK. So I'm going to be playing that this week as well. Feral, Goblin DK, probably Frost. And we'll see what's going on with that stuff as well. Are you guys planning on playing any other class types?
I'm going to go Warrior for sure. I gotta check out the Warrior, gotta check out the Mage. I gotta see what's going on. You know what I mean? I mean, I did. Unfortunately, I had to work late. Like, it's Murphy's Law. Like, WoD Alpha comes out, and I have to work late. Like, that's just classic Murphy. You're hilarious, lady.
Right.
But but I'm really going to dive into Mage and Warrior to kind of see how they're feeling and what's going on. But I'll tell you, as far as Windwalker goes, it's the same pretty much. You know what I mean? There was really no ability pruning, which is actually cool with me, because one of the things that I love about the Windwalker is there was so much going on and so much to keep track of, and that's what I dig. There's a nice skill cap with Windwalker Monk, so that's why I really enjoy about it. So.
Cool. Darius, are you going to be doing any other specs or classes?
Yeah, I'll check out. I'll probably continue to tank for Asparagus Initiative, so I'll likely check out Warriors, DKs, and Monks. Just to see how they do as tanks, to see what I'm going to want to play when that goes live. Right. What feels the best, what's going to give me the best advantage. It's definitely not going to be Monks, I'm sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will. I saw it in chat. Somebody was talking about the new Eclipse system. I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but the thing that's interesting about it is that it's always moving, even if you're not in combat. It's always moving. So it's really weird. Got to get used to it.
Really?
Yeah, it's strange. You hit one mob and it starts moving and it won't stop for like it's minutes after that until it stops. And then I'm like, this is so strange. It's so bizarre. I don't know. We'll try to keep you guys up to date on all things alpha, and hopefully it'll go into beta soon. Sooner rather than later, as far as I'm concerned. And if you guys want to sign up for the beta, you can do that via your Battle.net account. So make sure to do that. And we talked about this with Zarum as well. The beta probably won't have as much traffic in it as Mists of Pandaria did. So just be prepared for that, guys. I don't think everybody's going to be able to get into this, right, guys?
That's what they've been saying, which is not a bad thing.
Right.
It's just
right. Just kind of limit that stuff a little bit.
Well, that's true. But also, this is a big thing, guys. They are not sending out keys. So if you get an email or something like that that says, welcome to Warlords Alpha, here's your key, that is a scam. No matter how professional it looks, that is a scam. The only way that you can get into this alpha or into the beta is on your actual battle.net account. So if you're on your account, then you'll see a little thing that now says Warlords Alpha or Warlords Beta. That's how you know you're in. So if you get any key, if anyone's selling a key, it's a scam.
That is a little confusing because they did give out keys at PAX.
But those were for beta. Those were for beta. Those were for beta.
So if you see anything for alpha, it's a scam.
Yeah.
And they will definitely come out with information on how you redeem your PAX keys when you get those. But they weren't sent via email. They were only on physical cards that were printed out that you have. So just don't go clicking on links, please.
Right. No matter how good they look, don't click on those links. Don't do it.
Nope, that's never a good idea. Okay, let's really quickly, let's kind of, they came out with another water cooler this week. This time it was about the stats for Warlords of Draenor, and we have a little bit of an update. There are some changes. There are some stats that are just being retired, and I kind of want to breeze through this a little bit. I mean, it's for the most part, you guys know what's going on, I'm sure. So let's maybe just kick it off and just kind of run through some of these things. Now, as we know, hit and expertise gone, dodge and parry, those are gone off of armor, and replaced with bonus armor. And, that's a good thing for tanks, right, Dairies?
Yeah. I mean, all that stuff was just something you were trying to hit a cap on or a hard number on, and then not think about again. So getting rid of all this stuff just makes things easier. It just makes it less stuff you have to worry about that was in the end frivolous.
Right. And then we also have crit, mastery, and haste and spirit. Those guys are still there. Spirit's going to mean more for healers now in Warlords. And then we have some of the funky ones, some of the funky secondary things that we've been hearing about. And Colt, let's talk about multi-strike and what it is. Can you speak on that, please?
Multi-strike grants your spells, abilities, and auto attacks the chance to activate up to 2 extra times at 30% effectiveness.
Right, so you get a little extra bump on your deeps.
A little extra juice.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they said that you're actually going to be able to see it fire off like 2 smaller spells.
Yeah, they're saying like fireball. Like you'll cast your fireball, then you'll throw another one. You know what I mean? Your dude will do it again, which is cool.
That's kind of cool. That's all right.
I like that they're adding a visual element to it. It's not just another number. You know what I mean? That hits. There's going to be an actual visual with it. That's cool.
Exactly. Now we had a couple of. We talked about bonus armor, but there were a couple that were retired. One of them was amplify. And the other one was readiness. These things are they're like, you know what? We're running into issues. Darius, what were the issues that they were running into with these different stats?
I mean, Amplify was just too strong. It didn't make sense. Readiness was just too awesome, I think. Cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
But they were saying it didn't scale well, which I could see that. You know, if you get lucky and happen to get all readiness pieces and, you know, you've got your cooldowns are all reduced by 90%. That's kind of crazy. You know, that's not right.
Like if you've got damage cooldowns that increase your damage, and then you have a 90% reduction on that cooldown, you're going to be doing ridiculous amounts of damage. So they're trying to steer away from everyone will stack this stat. You know what I mean? Right. So that's good.
And same thing with Amplify. People are going to want to stack it. It's going to be your best once we hit level 100. And so it's not going to be any fun. It's not going to be interesting. It's just everybody's going to go for it. And that's the only thing that people are going to see. So they just took it out and they said, screw it. But they did come up with versatility. And this is kind of interesting. Darius, why don't you talk about versatility real quick?
So versatility is, for every point, it's a 1% increase in damage, healing absorbs, and it also reduces the damage you take by 0.5%.
Right.
So it makes you more effective as a healer or a damage dealer, and also makes you more survivable to big abilities.
Yeah, your survival goes up, and And they said it wouldn't be anybody's highest throughput stat, but it would be close, which is kind of cool. So they're really trying to make sure that that all these different secondary stats kind of don't really get too overpowered.
Yes,
I'm happy.
And I dig that, man, because a dead DPS does no DPS. So that's true. A good thing. Anything that increases my damage and my way to survive the fire, I'm up for it. Thumbs up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of helps everything. And they were talking, especially for hybrids, this is going to be kind of a cool stat because you're going to want that on all your gear, especially if you're switching like between Boomkin and Feral, where you have like totally different sets of gear essentially that you need. That could be really cool. So
it just kind of dawned on me.
Yeah.
By having all the gear that changes when you change spec, so intellect becomes agility or whatever. So we're not going to have all this fighting over gear because there's going to be enough of it to go around kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to be fighting over secondary stats. So Feral Druid's going to be like, no, I need the gear that has versatility on it because it's better for me.
Yeah.
This is going to get real weird.
Yeah.
Real soon.
Yeah, it definitely could be, and we'll kind of see what's going on as we move forward. Now we also have some minor stats to talk about. We have movement speed, which is
what does that do?
Right, exactly. What does it do?
Makes you move faster.
What? Oh, all right.
No, really? It does? Oh no.
This is why I'm here.
But we have avoidance, and avoidance is kind of cool, especially if you're used to playing with one of the pet classes like Hunter. Avoidance works the same way as with your pet, pretty much, right? I mean, it's AoE damage, avoidance of AoE damage for yourself. Of course, it's not going to work at the same level as with your pet, but that's kind of cool as well. Indestructible. Koltrane, what is indestructible?
Well, this used to be sturdiness.
Yeah.
So I dig that because indestructible is a much cooler word.
Indestructible.
So I dig it. When on an item, that item will not take durability damage.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. That's a little quality of life. You know what I mean? Yeah. That thing's indestructible. It won't, have durability damage. It won't need to repair it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's on each piece. They kind of updated it a little bit because it was supposed to be, okay, if you have, X amount of what was it called? Sturdiness. Then you won't get as much, durability loss or whatever. But now it's just on those particular items, so it's kind of cool. We also have Leech, which used to be Lifesteal, and basically converts damage or heals into self-healing, which is kind of weird. I'm going to turn your heal into a self-heal.
Yes.
I don't know. And then Cleave. They're running into problems with that too, aren't they, Dairies?
Yeah. It seems to be only value is for them, is for healers right now. So they're not sure what to do with this stat.
Right.
So we'll see what they do. The alpha, in both the run-throughs I've done so far, I haven't gotten any gear with any of these stats on it.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see, because they're emphasizing pretty strongly that these are all going to have minimal impact, that, movement speed, it'll stack, but its max benefit is fairly low. Avoidance is AoE damage reduction, but in much smaller quantities. Like, how much is this actually going to matter? Or is this just going to be, you have 14 pieces of gear, 2 pieces have readiness on it, but it's a 0.5% cooldown reduction, so it's not even, or readiness is gone, but just an example, it's not even worth looking at. So, these stats end up going ignored. I really want to see the gear with this stuff on it and how often it drops and how big of an impact it actually has.
And also, readiness was retired, so there's no confusion. There will not be any readiness.
That's what I said.
Yep. All right. So that's kind of a quick look at the stats, and I'm sure as we roll through alpha and then beta, we'll be looking into this more, and we'll find out more about them and actually what they do and how they work and all those other kinds of things. Now, of course, we do have Skype being a little bit buggy today. I don't know what is going on.
It's been insane.
I know, it's been on and off all day. If you're watching the video, I apologize, but it's out of our control. It's out of my control anyway. I don't know what the hell's going on. But that's kind of a usual thing for me. I never know what's going on. So I think what we're going to do is let's take one question and then get the heck out of Dodge. And so let's go to the mailbag.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question for really anything about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttораid@gmail.com, or you can call our raid line 612-787-RAID, or you can try to hop into the live show, grab our attention, flag us down, and we'll see if we can get to it. However, today we do have something from the raid line, so let's hear this one.
Hey guys, just got a quick question for you. So I was getting ready to realm transfer today, but I found out that you're only allowed to trade a maximum of 50,000 gold per character. Me having 630,000 gold, I cannot. It's going to cost me hundreds of dollars in order to super ding characters and then transfer them over to get most of my gold over there, and then I'm going to have to pay one of my friends to give him some gold and then transfer that gold over there to give back to me. So, do you guys think that they will ever raise the cap that you're allowed to have to transfer with your characters? So, just what do you guys think? And love the show. Koltrane, keep them fortune cookies coming.
No! Yeah! No! So this guy has the worst problem in WoW right now. He has way too much gold to transfer with.
That's
and
impressive.
I feel really terrible for you. I really do, because I think I have 10, 15K. That's about my standard at all times. So congratulations for having that much gold. And
that guy's awesome.
There are ways to transfer more than the 50K, I believe.
Yes.
Colt, why don't you clue us in? What's going on with that?
Guilds, baby. Guild transfer.
Yeah.
Create yourself a guild, right?
Right.
You can throw it in the bank. I think the max on a guild transfer, help me out here, chat room. I think it's like 300K. I think it's
a million. I think you can go full.
Wow.
A million with it.
So,
I think so. I thought they updated that.
Yeah, I think. Wow, that's amazing if that's what it is. So that's all you need to do. So you're gonna need to create a guild, your own little guild, throw it in the old guild bank, and then you're gonna have to then pay for a guild transfer. But you'll be able to transfer that full amount, especially if it's gone up to a million.
You get, when you transfer a guild, the guild leader goes with it for free.
Right, but it's like $60 or something like that.
Yeah, it's more money, and the guild has to be around for a specific amount of time. You can't just create it and the next day transfer it.
Right.
I think it's like 10 days or maybe a month.
Right.
So there are caveats to that, but that is a good idea in doing it via guild.
Yeah, and I think the reason that Blizzard has a cap on characters, I think, in my opinion, is to reduce the amount of gold sellers. That kind of market. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because a lot of those guys, they transfer to different characters. People pay for, I want guild on this server and that kind of thing. Gold on this server, not guild on this server. And so, yeah, you create a guild. And I think, and Darius is right, it's like 10 or 12 days or something. And it also, the guild itself needs to be, I believe, level 2.
Yeah, it has to be level 2.
Yeah, guild level 2. And then you can just throw your money in the old guild bank, transfer it on over, and you should be good to go.
Gotcha.
There it is.
That's cool. That's awesome. So your problems are solved.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes. And he said, keep those fortune cookies coming.
No, you misheard.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I heard.
Right. All right. Well, let's get the heck out of here, since Skype is still being weird and stuff, and yeah. So let's
Skype!
go. Skype, you bastard. All right. So let's get out of here, but before we do, let's give some 5-star reviews, and Darius, you didn't do your job. You forgot about your job. You have one job on this show. One job.
I haven't been on the show in 6 years, I think.
Right. No,
I don't even know what I'm doing. If you could stall, I could probably find them. But
No. I got them right here. So we have Jonathan Riordan, MJ Hawking, Zoopally, Lost Catastrophe, And Went and Dent. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Went and Dent. That's kind of cool. I like that one. All right, so those are some of the last few anyway, as we kind of scrabble and get those things. So thank you guys for giving us a 5-star review. Always appreciate it. Yeah, we love you guys. We love you guys commenting on our stuff, giving us feedback, all that kind of stuff. We cannot do this show without you guys, and thanks. Thank you. There we go. And you can always join in on any conversation we're having at any time. And it's time to just bail on the music.
Well, you're just gonna just bail out? Bail out of that?
Just gonna bail right out. It's yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
That's the way it goes. Yeah. And then I will play. Let's see. This one. There we go.
Ooh.
The fast-paced one.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at converttораid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttораid or individually, isn't that right, Koltrane?
You can follow Pat Krane at Pat Krane. You can follow Koltrane at _Koltrane. You can follow Dairies at Board Mine.
That is correct. And you can also join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to converttораid.com, where we have tons of links for raiders. We have show downloads, we have videos, we have forums, and so much more. And it's all over at converttораid.com. Check it out, please. And our live feed and our video show is also available on GameBreaker.tv. Please watch, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that kind of funky stuff to everything that we do, because that's awesome. Woo, we love it. The audio show is available on Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iTunes, all sorts of different other places, and that's going to be it for the show. We hope you guys had fun. We hope you guys learned a little bit about the alpha. We'll be telling you more about this as we go through, as we experience more. We'll try to let you in on it, but it's kind of a cool first look, wasn't it, fellas?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. It's getting me pumped! Well, you know, I gotta
Koltrane's a little... Yeah, settle down, buddy.
I tend to get a little excited. I'm a little passionate.
It'll be okay.
I've got some passion.
Right. All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week, and hopefully Skype will not be a problem.
Yes.
Hopefully. But it'll be at our regular time, Sunday, 11 a.m. Central, and for all the guys that Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Right. Exactly.
That's my Wookiee impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.